Now then lads, welcome back. Today I'm continuing my quest to use the 4 looniest loadouts from the World War I game series, this time with the sequel to Verdun, Tannenberg. Now if you haven't seen part 1 in Verdun, you can find it in the description, and with that, let's get on to the question of what is Tannenberg? So, to begin with, what is Tannenberg? Well, essentially it's Verdun, but you play Conquest because you're on the eastern front of World War I instead, so you're with the Russians, the Germans, and the Austro-Hungarians, and a couple small Balkan nations. And the biggest problem with that is there's way less squads or interesting weapons to choose from, especially when you compare to Verdun's loadout roster, which is, there's a lot here, a lot of interesting ones, and then you compare it to, Tannenberg's, which is 7 squad types. They merge all the German ones into infantry, which is fun. But you do have access to stationary MGs this time, and call downs if you're playing as an NCO, which is cool, I guess. But the big problem here is that with less variety of unique weapons, there's a lot more pulling straws this time, so it's more likely to not really be loony loadouts, and more interesting choice of weapon for that army to use specifically loadouts. So we'll just have to see. But to begin with, let's get into the first Entente loadout. The Type 38 Arasaka is the first gun we're going to be using here, which is of course a Japanese rifle that happens to be in Russian service. Like I said earlier, we were pulling straws here. Now, the reason that I'm using this is because, well, A, I want to start it with a kind of normal weapon, but also, I think it's kind of interesting that these rifles come from an original batch that was actually meant for Mexico. And, since Mexico was in, let's just say, a politically fun position during World War I, they ended up not being sent, so Japan ended up selling them to Russia, and then Britain got their hands on some and also sold them to Russia too. Because, of course, Britain did. Wherever there's money to be made, you can ensure the British Empire will make that money. Look, the point is, the same rifle Japan was using in the Battle of Okinawa also saw service fighting the Austro-Hungarians in Poland. And I just think that's really funny and silly, so I wanted to use it. So, yeah, here it is. Okay, so here we are in Tannenberg, and our first weapon is, of course, the Type 38, which is a Japanese rifle, as I'm sure many of you will know, and is also the same rifle that the Japanese would use during World War II, which is in Russian service. Well, technically these are Latvians, but the point is it's all Imperial Russia. And since this is a Japanese rifle, the plan is we're going to see how many bayonet kills we can get with it. Since obviously this is Japanese, the bayonet, most important part of the gun, as I'm sure many of you will know. I will say one of the biggest issues with Tannenberg is there's not usually a lot of players actually in the game. So yeah, with the lack of players, we'll have to see how well this goes. Alright, let's see if we can go get some bayonet kills. Okay, so if we're going to deal and try and get those bayonet kills, and we're going to have to fight the bots, we're going to have to come up with a strategy. And I think the best strategy will be, we will just wait for the bots to come to us instead. Unless, there's a player who's very willing to run headfirst into the knife on the end of my gun. Which, hey, that would make life easier. Any Germans want to run at my gun? Or Bulgarians, I don't discriminate. I commit war crimes equally. I mean, to be fair, this is a Japanese rifle. I feel like half of its use was, war crimes. Okay, I am starting to see a problem with trying to get the bayonet kills. It's very hard to just, run at people when they have a gun and can just shoot you. There is a slight flaw in the plan. Oh. Where are they being shot from? They're all just over here. Ah, there we go. Or not. I guess someone else was on the machine gun. Right, let's get this point. There we go. Got a couple of them. Oh, there we go. A lot of them over here. Oh, there we go. It is a bit sad, really, because, you know, I think Tannenberg is a pretty good game. But it just seems very few people actually play this one. Compared to the Zonzo and Verdun. Yeah, I think part of the reason people simply might not play this one as much is there's just not as much variety in terms of the guns. I mean, it is very much mostly, you know, rifles and pistols. Although there are a lot of revolvers in this, which is nice. Although, to be fair, at least there's no one running around with a flamethrower this time. That does make my life easier, to be fair. Okay, so progress report on the bayonets. No one has died to a bayonet yet. And that's because if I get too close, I die because I get shot. And I don't want to die, surprisingly enough. Granted, there's a lot of people for me to, you know, shoot with the gun at least. So we can definitely test out that. And to be fair, I think there is like a cool novelty of saying, oh yeah, this is the same rifle that Japan uses to kill Americans during World War II. You know, it's just casually being used in Poland. You know, as you'd expect. You know, Latvia, famous for using Japanese weapons, obviously. Oh, that's a German. Oh, can we get him? Yeah! There we go! Banzai! That, I'm very happy. We got 2 of them. Oh, Banzai! Yes! That is 4 already. Damn it. That was close to being 5. Oh boy, where are we being shot from, lads? Oh, down there. Right. That's only slightly worrying. Oh, hello, Mr. German. Goodbye, Mr. German. Fire and gas, my favourite combination. There we go, look at that. Also, I've just realised we're definitely going to lose this. Although I think at least I've definitely proven that this rifle is, you know, it's a very good starter weapon, you know, to kick us off in Tannenberg. I mean, to be fair, it is a rifle. I mean, we are mainly using this because it's, you know, funny. You know, it's funny to turn around and say, ah, look at this. Japan gun, but in a place that is definitely not near Japan, and being used by men who are definitely not Japanese. Or an ally of Japan. To be fair, I am not totally clued up on my Latvian political history, so I'm not entirely sure what Latvia thinks to Japan in 1914. Not that I think they had much of a choice. We don't run out of stamina now. Banzai! Well, we got 5 kills with the bayonet. I'm fairly happy about that. Oh, you're Russian. Sorry, buddy. Also, I'm pretty certain that nearly all of the melee kills I've had so far have been against actual players. Which is interesting. There we go. Get off that point, Mr. German. Oh god, there's a lot of them here. Haha, dumb Bulgarian. Can't kill me. I've got the power of God and anime on my side. Oh, there we go. Oh, great. Okay, can't advance further. God forbid, you know, you try and be a soldier and exceed your, you know, what you're expected to do. You're just meant to die. I think it's over. They flanked us. No. How could they do that to us? How could they think of just going around our main push? Well, either way, it's over, boys. We lost. But we did finish that, you know, with a modest 5 bayonet kills and a fair amount of people dead at the hands of my rifle. And we got most melee kills, which, you know, that's what really matters. Well then, overall, I did enjoy the weapon, and I thought it was pretty fun to use, which, you know, you kind of expect from a rifle. It felt pretty solid and pretty damn, you know, reliable to use. Which, you know, makes sense in a game considering this is mostly rifle combat. I think the novelty as well did add to the fun of, you know, Banzai charging people with it and getting those bayonet kills. Therefore, I think I'm going to give the Type 38 a 7 out of 10. A reliable rifle with some cool history and aesthetics, and it's funny. Also, some cool-ass knurling on the back of the bolts, so I think I'm going to give it an extra point for style. So I guess that makes the score 8 out of 10 then. So yeah, overall, Type 38 Arasaka for the Latvian rifleman. Pretty solid gun. The next gun I'm going to use is Russia's second ever single-fire military cartridge rifle, the Burden 2. This is also funny because this is a single-shot rifle, and it was invented by an American. This means that this is a US rifle in Russian service if you want to apply the very specific line of logic that argues that if the inventor was of that country, then you can say, ah, yes, look, this American, he made this a Russian rifle, therefore this is an American rifle, technically, and you just want to ignore the fact that the US Army had absolutely nothing to do with the project. Then it makes it a US rifle in Russian service. So yeah, that's dumb. The Burden 2 is also, as some of you may know, an enlisted. Like the Type 38, except this time it was a Gold Order rifle from Season 1, and I literally never ever see it except for the one that I own, because of course. But anyway, so the Burden 2 and its history basically served with the Russians until the Russians invented the Mosin Nagant in, oh my god, 1891. Wait, you're telling me that the Mosin Nagant is over a century old and Russia still can't find a better replacement? I mean, for Christ's sake, they're still using it in Ukraine. They're using a rifle from the 1890s in Ukraine. Christ, Russia, you could at least have some dignity and retire the damn rifle. Make a new one. Well, to be fair, at least the Burden didn't serve that long, or it would have become a right. Burden? I'm not funny. Anyway, here's the Burden 2. Okay, so here we go. This time with the Burden 2. Now that I've not used this gun before, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. This is a Russian single shot, invented by an American. I guess all good things Russia has come from America somehow. And they're already shelling us instead. I'd rather not deal with that. Very annoying. As you can see. Oh, hello. There we go. Got one. Yeah, we're gonna have to focus much more on kind of staying behind the lines this time. Because obviously this is a single shotgun. And now they're making me run away. Because I was doing well. Goddamn Russian army. Ah, missed. Missing with this gun's pretty much a death sentence if they've got a pistol. Ah, there we go. Aha. Can't sneak up on me, buddy. Alright, can you shut up? You're being more of a burden than me. Yeah, I'll be honest, I never would have believed that a single round bolt-action rifle would be this frustrating to use. But to be fair, it does kind of make sense. I mean, I don't have the ability to, you know, shoot multiple people. There we go, that's one. Can't snipe me. Ow! Now I'm being shot at. And I can't see. Where? There we go, got him! Bloody hiding behind the... Hiding behind that. What I can't see what that is. I think it's a machine gun. I will say, I do find the reload for the Burden pretty satisfying compared to a lot of the other guns, like the regular bolts. Also, it's interesting to finally use one of the more marksman rifles, because, you know, there are marksman rifles in these games. It's just we don't tend to use them because they're not really that interesting. But to be fair, the single shot ones, they're pretty fun. You know, it's like using a musket, but if a musket was accurate. And, you know, good. And once again, we're losing very badly. Oh, look at this. You could say I'm being a right burden on these enemy troops. You see, it's funny, because the gun is called Burden, but, you know, I'm using the word burden, and obviously I'm being a burden by killing a lot of them, and it's a pun. You know, this may be a marksman's rifle, but I am certainly not a marksman. Gosh, it's going well for the Russians so far. We've already lost both games as Russia. So then, that was the Burden 2, and honestly, it's fine. It's actually not that much of a burden to use, haha, but seriously, I think it's alright. I wouldn't pick it as my favourite, as I do feel... I don't know, it just feels a bit underpowered, even though it's still, you know, a one-shot. There's just something about it that doesn't really grip me as much. I don't know. Anyway, maybe we'll see why when I use another single-shot rifle later. Anyway, what do I think to the gun overall? Well, I think it's alright. I'd give it a rating of 6 out of 10, so it's fine, it's usable, but it just doesn't, you know, have that oomph that made it kind of fun to use. Oh well. Next is the obligatory melee loadout. However, this time, unlike the field Spartan, this may be much more fun to use. It's the Smith & Wesson No. 3 with the Shashka and a chemical grenade that I frankly had no clue what it was the first few times I used it. Now, the main reason I picked this was I was actually recommended to use the Shashka by Mason6832 on YouTube, so thank you very much for the recommendation, Mason. Therefore, since all the Cossack loadouts actually come with the Shashka, I decided to use the only one which had the Smith & Wesson 3 because, well, to be honest, I just wanted a funny cowboy revolver with the Russian Cossacks. Now, this was unique as well, since Smith & Wesson actually did make a version of the No. 3 specifically for Russia that was chambered in 44 Russian. And like the Type 38, I just find it funny that the Russian army was using this revolver during World War I. You know, like you've got bloody Dmitri over there, the Russian Cossack, running around with his cowboy gun and Shashka. You know, it just feels a bit, funny. So, there we go. Oh, yeah, the grenade. Apparently it's a chemical grenade that shoots, like, gas of some description. So, I mean, chemical warfare's always cool, but, yeah, I didn't actually know that until I was writing the script and had to have a look at what, you know, what was in the loadout. And I only figured it out through the match about halfway through. However, that doesn't matter. Overall, I had the same goal as I had with the Spade in the last melee loadout. 10 kills, 1 round, let's see how I did. Okay, so this is the next loadout. So this is a Smith & Wesson No. 3 built for Russia with a sword, because we are a Cossack, and I am also an NCO this time, which means I can actually give out calls if I could actually hit people. Now, the benefit this time of actually having a pistol means that we can take out enemies from a range to obviously make up for the, you know, bigger issue. The fact that we need melee kills with the Shashka. Or not, because you're also a Cossack. Sword! Yeah, there we go. Look at that. The mighty Cossack. Yeah, there we go. Yes! Oh, look at that. 3 people with a saber. Yes! Because I think we can get 10. I actually, you know, I am fairly positive. Also, I can call in support. Let's call in some gas at the gun. Who else wants to be delimbed by my sword? I feel most of the brave Austro-Hungarian soldiers should want that. You know, I hand out free amputations. I think that's going to be my business proposal this time. You know, finish the war. You know, war ends. Russia wins, obviously, because Russia never loses wars. And, you know, go back. You know, become a doctor. Also, hello there, sir. That's number 5. That's number 6. This is much easier. God, I like the sword. It's a lot easier than trying to get those bayonet kills. And that's number 7! I mean, look at this, right? We are already on melee kill 7. You know, we've got a revolver. Life is good. And we've got a grenade as well. Hopefully they go in there and then get blown up. On second thought, I may have not dropped the grenade. Right, 3 more men must die at my saber. And in the meantime, we can just, you know, put people down with the good old Smith & Wesson, you know? I feel like a true Cossack, right? You know, I've got like a cowboy revolver in one hand, you know, Shashka in the other. Being in the cavalry must be fun. There we go. That's 8. And that's 9. Speaking of which, is there anyone in here? And that's 10. Look at that. And I've not lost count this time because I just saw the achievement come up for 10 sword kills. Honestly, you know, the Shashka is actually really good. Genuinely thank you to the bloke who suggested it. I don't remember your name, but you will be featured. Because, you know, I'm having the time of my life with that sword. Also, can I... No, you don't, boy. Oh, God, there's a machine gun up there. And he sees me. That's slightly terrifying. So, we're going to need to come up with a new plan, of which I'm not entirely sure what the details will be, but they will probably involve me running at the enemy with a sword of some description. And you're reloading, so that's your mistake, buddy. Also, I think that's number 11. Actually, number 11 this time. Okay, door not open. Door open here. Oh, sorry, buddy. Now, accidentally murdering. And that's number 12. And I think we'd be justified in calling in some support. Oh, hello, gentlemen. Honestly, you know, like, I'll be honest, right? The old field spatten and grenades. You know, it was fun. It was fun, but it was frustrating. This one, you know, the Cossacks, you know, with the Shashka and the Smith & Wesson and the grenade, which I'm yet to use, you know, pretty well. This goes well, because I can actually, you know, I can look at someone, identify a threat, and say, ah, you have a gun. Therefore, I'm not going to take you on. Like you here. You didn't have a gun. Well, you did, but you were, you know, close to me. Therefore, you're kill 13, buddy. Come on, where are some? The sword wants revenge. It needs blood. The sword needs blood! Oh god, that's a lot of them. Run! Run away! Run away! Okay, there's actually a lot down there. Oh god, there's a lot. There's a lot on their way. Right, pull out the sword. Oh, those fools. I have the perfect disguise for my murder. Or not. Or I just die. That would have been really cool. Okay, here's my logic. Ditch the gun and run around now, because we're in... They can't see me! They can't see me in the smoke. So they'll be terrified. The man just appears and he stabs you. Or they still see me. Okay, maybe wearing all black in white smoke isn't a good idea. I'm fairly certain you don't need the mask on for the smoke, but you know, I like the roleplay factor, you could say. Also, the Russian mask is actually nice because I can see what the hell I'm aiming at. Where are they? They're definitely... Oh, they're in there. This may be a good opportunity to use the grenade. And it's an even better opportunity to run at a man with a sword. Or not. You know, I do feel the only big issue that we have with this class. Oh, yeah, there we go, got him. Come on, where's some more lads? Ah, they're dead. I think the biggest issue we have with this loadout is the lack of a long-range weapon. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Smith & Wesson is definitely nice. And I'm not going to be out here complaining about the thing. But at the same time, you know, it would be nice to have a little bit more of a rifle. I can't tell if that's smoke or gas at this point. But I can tell that he's dead, and I think that was number 16, question mark? I don't actually know. All I know is that this is my church, and I will defend God's honor by blood! Let's push up, boys. Brave men, let us defend. Let us defend our land and seize it from the evil Austro-Hungarian and Germanic invaders. There we go. Okay, I'm probably gonna retreat back a bit. I feel I'm gonna get shot there. Okay, we should probably actually try and get that point. Being shot at, being shot at, being shot at, being shot at. Wanna get in the trench, wanna get in the trench. I'm in the trench, I'm in the trench. Come on, we can get this, boys. Just don't die to the Austro-Hungarians. You know, to be fair, I know this series is called Loony Loadouts. This really isn't a Loony loadout. This is, you know, this is very reasonable. Very reasonable loadout. Yeah. I don't see the problem of giving soldiers swords to go to war with. I think it's a good idea, frankly. I think we should do it. I think we should go back to giving officers and NCOs swords to go to war with. I think it's a good idea. Come on, come on, come on. Walk in, buddy. Where'd he go? Oh, hello. Probably go defend that part. Probably go take the church back. I mean, I did say I was defending it in God's name. Wouldn't want to piss him off. I must say, the Smith & Wesson number 3 is very fun to use. There we go. Ah, go on, lads. Run into it. Or don't. I don't understand. Wait, do I have a gas grenade? I probably do, don't I? I'm probably just too dumb to realize that. That would make sense if I had a gas grenade. But I don't. Or I do, I don't know. That's for figuring out later. Oh, so I killed a man with the chlorine gas. Well, I'm happy with that. That paid off. To be fair, I think the uniforms blend way more in Tannenberg than they do in Verdun. There we go, got him. Oh. I've had a genius thought. And it involves the Shashka. And it involves 2 dead men. You see, the plan was to kill them. It was very cunning of me. Can I call in... I can call in more chlorine. There we go. Oh boy, here they come. Here comes the horde. Or not. Very small horde. And I got someone with the chlorine again. Go chemical warfare. Oh. I did not expect that to hit him, to be honest. Not that I'm complaining. I just didn't know I was that cracked at aiming. I don't think we're going to be able to get a kill, but honestly, Shashka good. Shashka very good. And we won. And of course, most melee kills and most kills with a sword, as deserved. So then, what did I think to the Smith & Wesson 3 and the Shashka? Well, to be frank, I loved it. The revolver makes such a difference compared to the field spatten, where, you know, you didn't have a gun, so frankly, I was overjoyed with just that alone. I genuinely thought this was one of the best guns that I had used because it had such good synergy with the Shashka. It genuinely felt fun to use them both together. The Shashka also felt more rewarding than the Spade, so it gets more points on that front as well. And it beat the Spade's record, getting twice the amount of kills at 20, and doubling what, you know, I expected to get. Therefore, this whole loadout, it felt like a straight upgrade. So, frankly, I give the Smith & Wesson number 3 and Shashka a 9 out of 10, since, well, it's actually both really fun and genuinely effective, which is, like, wild for this series so far. Finally, is the only Central Powers loadout coming to us from the, of all armies, the Bulgarians. But it's not actually a Bulgarian rifle. It is objectively the greatest single-shot rifle ever made, the Martini Henry. Specifically the Peabody variant, which means that it is technically a Turkish gun made in the USA, but to be honest, it's as close as you can get to the real thing, and therefore, I don't care. It looks like a Martini Henry, it sounds like a Martini Henry, therefore it is a Martini Henry, even if Britain wasn't, you know, the happiest about other countries copying us. It's just because it was that good of a gun, obviously. Anyway, the loadout comes with a stick grenade as well, so overall, I'm anticipating that the Martini Henry, or technically the Peabody Henry, should be a pretty good marksman's gun. So yeah, let's see how it handles. Okay. Alright, so here we are. We are with the Central Powers this time. And we have the Martini Henry, which I am very excited to use. See, unlike the Burden 2, which, you know, Russian single action, single fire rifle, we have a Martini action single rifle, and it's a Martini Henry, which makes it infinitely cooler. Because, you know, it was in Zulu, and I like the film Zulu. We're already being shot at. I don't really want to walk there, because I'll probably die. So we'll use a grenade. Look at that. Ingenuity on my part, that. Up. Ah, there we go. That's interesting. So the Martini Henry in Tannenberg is with the Bulgarians. Because the Bulgarians were the only ones who actually used it in the war, because, well, to be fair, it was very outdated, since, you know, it did come about in the 1870s. But, you know, it may be old, but it's still got a lot of energy, still got that fighting spirit. That's because it was made by the greatest firearm designers in the world, the British, he said unironically. Honestly, I am very much preferring this over the Burden. The Burden felt like it had a bit of a longer reload. Like, not hugely longer, but like smidgenly longer. That, and also, there's just something satisfying about the Martini Henry's reload. You know, it doesn't just feel like you're loading one round into a bolt. It actually feels like, you know, you're really loading in a big old round into a big old gun. You know, it feels like an event rather than a, oh, he's just reloading his gun. Honestly, the Martini Henry and Tannenberg feels really fun to use. Like, unlike a lot of the other single action rifles in the World War I game series, it really, like, it really feels powerful, like you'd expect a single shot rifle to be, you know? Like, you're using it because you want that power. There we go. Ah, dumb Cossacks. What good's your sword gonna do when I've got a long rifle? Okay, to be fair, it might do you some good if, considering I can't really actually aim. Up, yes. Okay. Oh, the Bulgarian mask actually isn't that bad. It's a lot better than I thought it would be. You know, coming from using the German one, which has all of those god-awful, you know, things in the way of where I'm meant to be, you know, aiming. Oh, no. Friendly. Oh, hello. There we go. I do like the decision they made with Tannenberg to make the marksman rifles all kind of, you know, single shots. Because, like, I appreciate that there wasn't a huge amount of weapon variety they could have done, unlike, say, in Isonzo or in, Verdun. Oh, God. Middle of no man's land. Not exactly the place I want to be. There we go. Got one. Honestly, I think out of the 3 rifles that I've used so far, this is probably my favorite. And I know a large of that's going to be because, I love the Martini Henry, which, to be fair, that is a large part of it, but at the same time, it just feels good to use. Like, the Type 38 felt fine to use. It felt like a rifle. You know, it felt like how you'd expect it to feel, if that makes sense. Whereas the Martini Henry just kind of, it feels very good from the get-go kind of thing. Plain. Shame you can't shoot them down with your rifles in this. It would be funny if you could do that. Oh, that was friendly. But that certainly wasn't. Right, there may be some down here. Oh, there is. Haha. Friendly. Yeah, I need to remember to not kill the Austro-Hungarians this time. Oh god, there's a lot coming from that way. If only I had people to fight with me for ranking fire. That would be certainly helpful. There we go. Can't hide from me, buddy. Speaking of which, grenade! Oh, we actually hit someone with a grenade. Didn't get him, though. Oh. Got him! Get grenade out. I don't know how well that'll do. Ooh, speaking of grenade out, let's get another one out. Oh, hello. There we go. Trying to bloody hide away. Oh, so I'm now scared to peek. Oh, hello. There we go, got him. Look at that. Real marksman's rifle, this. Got him. I think we got each other there. You know, I'll take that trade. Sword against bayonet apparently is equal. There's a bloke down there. I can tell. I can sense him. Right, okay, that's sort of doomed me. Go, grenade! Okay, grenade did absolutely nothing. There we go! Got him! And it was a penetration too. There we go, 1 free noggin removal, mate. Courtesy of the Martini Henry. And another free noggin removal. God, we're giving them out like hotcakes today. Got him! Ah. Oh. There's your free noggin removal, pal. Call me if you ever need another one. Not that I think you will. Let's get a grenade in first. Because they are in there. Oh, there we go. Oh, we got one! We actually got one with a grenade. Finally. Anyone down here? Oh, hello. There we go. Ah, trying to retreat. Evidently, you were not fast enough, Mr. Cossack. Oh, you are friendly. I can get him. I can get him. Ah, there we go. Trying to hide behind a corner to reload. Ah, that never works when I've got a, you know, a kitchen knife on the end of my sword. Wait. What? Okay, that came out completely wrong. There we go, another one. Another free noggin removal. Oh boy, I think there's a lot coming this way. We won! Ah! And that is the power of the Martini Henry. That victory, all down to the Martini Henry alone. Amazing, really. Honestly, what a gun. It may be an American rip-off that was made for the Ottomans, but it still captures that British magic that the Martini Henry is so good at. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, I really enjoyed the rifles since, honestly, it just felt like a solid upgrade from the Burden. Or the Burdan, sorry. I don't know, it just kind of felt good to use, and I think most of all, it was just satisfying. Therefore, I would give the Peabody Martini, or the Martini Henry, an 8 out of 10. A truly solid rifle, and frankly, my favourite rifle in Tannenberg. So, that's it. 4 more interesting choice of weapon for that army to use, specifically loadouts. And if you are interested, here again is the handy table with the points for each weapon on them, with the Smith & Wesson number 3 and the Shashka at the top with a nice 9 out of 10, and the Burden 2 at the bottom with a rather average, but still decent 6 out of 10. Overall then, what did you guys think to the weapons in Tannenberg? Do you think the ones I picked were interesting, or do you think there were dumber guns in the game? Anyway, if you have any more suggestions for Azonzo, I do want you to leave them in the comments, because I may just use them. Anyway, with that said, a huge thank you so much for watching, and continuing watching this dumb series of mine, and goodbye.